Welcome to New England Cuisine, the program that celebrates the terrific food and flavors of New England. I'm your host, Scott Summerfield. New England has some of the finest vegetables and herb farms in the country. So tonight, we're celebrating with some delicious pasta entrees with fresh New England greens. And who better to do the honors than chef and owner Rob Maffucci from the multiple award-winning Vito's by the Park in Hartford, Vito's by the Water in Windsor, and Vito's in Wethersfield and Newington. Vito's has been named one of the top 10 independent restaurant groups in the country by Restaurant Business Magazine. And Rob has been recognized with numerous local and national honors, including the prestigious 40 Under 40 Award. I'll have to ask you about that. Well, you know, we're delighted to have you here tonight.
Well, thanks.
And we'd like to thank Vito's for generously supplying all the wonderful ingredients that we're going to cook with tonight. So, Rob, what's on the menu?
Well, it's very nice to be here. Thanks for having me here again. What we're going to do is a pappardelle dish, and then later we'll do a classic carbonara.
Oh, lovely.
And, you know, first I usually like to start with a bottle of wine.
Okay.
So,
you know what I'll do is the dish that I'm going to do after that, since we're on the pasta theme, is I'm going to do just a really nice capellini with, I've got some hothouse tomatoes and a little fresh parsley and cheese, a little water from the pasta. We'll finish off with something light and airy. So,
well, what we do is, in my house anyway, I always like to get a nice glass of a red going while I'm starting to do dinner, because
right.
In my house the food and wine go quick. By the time I actually sit down, you know, I'm like, where's the wine, where's the food? I've been slaving over a hot stove and it's all gone.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
That's where I get it first. This is a nice Tuscan red too. So
Very nice.
I always, if you're going to do pasta, I always recommend a nice red wine or any wine you like drinking, because, you know, who doesn't like drinking wine?
Yeah, and it's great with food, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I think pasta and the tomato sauce and all the different things that we're going to see. So,
well, first we're going to start with a little olive oil, not too much, because it's going to be a cream dish. So I pre-cooked a little bit of loose sausage. This is a sweet sausage, and we're going to use some broccolini, which is kind of hot right now. I've seen it on a lot of menus lately, and it's a great hearty vegetable to use. Bright green, you know, it's like a broccoli, but not like a broccoli.
Yes.
So it's a really interesting dish, an interesting vegetable. What we're going to add a little bit of Kalamata olives. Let me see if I can get a spoon here, and just a few.
I think broccolini is, for those who don't like broccoli, Rob, that has that kind of a bitter taste to it, but I like that taste.
It's not like a broccoli rabe.
Right. It's a little more, it's a lot softer.
Oh, much softer,
you know?
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're going to add a little bit of cherry pepper. Not too much, just to give it a little bit of spice.
Yeah.
You know, just to get it going. Let me see. And then, because it's a vodka cream, we're going to add a little bit of vodka. This will bring out a lot of the flavors. Might catch fire. Oh, no, there we go. All right.
Look at that, huh? That's nice.
Don't try this at home, folks.
Well, maybe this part wouldn't be for the kids, you know. But I know my niece loves vodka sauces and
This brings the flavor out.
You're right. It really does. And all the alcohol is going to cook away, and you're going to be left with that great flavor. And you're already building all these great flavors.
A little bit of marinara. And this I just used as a little bit of color and flavor.
You know, the great thing I'm seeing already is that you could do this ahead of time, have all the ingredients prepared ahead of time, and then make it...
As usual,
yeah.
You know, a good prep is really important. You know, getting all the ingredients and finding and putting together all the ingredients ahead of time makes cooking so much easier. So we're going to throw a little cream in there to get started.
Oh, that's lovely.
And then we're going to put a little butter in there. Now the butter will really let all the sauces and flavors combine and really sit and hold on to the pasta. So we'll do that, and then
butter rules.
Of course, we have the star of the show is the pappardelle, which is like thicker than fettuccine. and it's a great pasta to make at home. It's probably the easiest of all the pastas to make at home if you ever want to do that.
And it's nice because it holds the sauce well, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's why you use the pappardelle versus using spaghetti or, you know, you need that flat.
You know,
you want to coat that.
We get, you know, we have access to all these pastas and all these great things we cook with, and sometimes you forget. You know, you get too much into fettuccine or linguine or something, and you forget how you know all the other pastas, and so you try to do new things. You reintroduce things that you haven't done in a while, and you try to stay fresh. Right. So, and this dish is almost done. Add a little bit.
Smell that, boy. That
a little bit more grated cheese. This is grated pecorino romano, which is my favorite cheese to cook with, and maybe a little salt and pepper.
Why do you like the pecorino?
It's not as strong as like a Parmesan cheese.
Right.
And it's a little more versatile. I think it coats and melts a little nicer.
Right.
And it's just one of our favorite flavors. Where Parmesan is a little too
very earthy, strong,
very fragrant, and sometimes too overpowering.
Right.
So next is I'm gonna.
That's always a fun thing to do, is to you know, get a couple different types of Parmesan and taste them, and really start to notice the differences in the cheese and flavors, and how to build things with those things that you're tasting. You know, like you just did there with you built all those wonderful flavors and layers of ingredients to make your sauce. That's wonderful, boy.
And then a little bit more cheese, and you notice it doesn't have a lot of sauce pooling up in the dish.
Yeah.
So it clings nice.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's just, you know, you don't want to have any one ingredient overpower the next. You want it to be a nice little combination of flavors. So every bite, you twist a fork and you get a little pasta,
bit of everything,
a little bit of pepper, a little bit of sausage, a little broccolini, and it all works together.
What like what you said about the sauce, and the best thing that I think that people can learn from what you did too was that when you cook the pasta, you put it into the sauce. You bring everything together, you know, with the pasta. And you see a lot of times that, you know, the pasta goes in the bowl and the sauce on the top, and that's it,
you really want to toss it. You want to incorporate it. Yeah. You know, you want it to really join together and soak up the flavor. Yeah. And let it skin it. You don't want it just to sit there and see like this uncoated pasta and a bunch of flavors either too high or too low. Right. You know, you want it to really cling and stay there, and that's what makes a great flavor. Right.
If you'd like more information, give us a call at 860-623-8143 or email us at anycuisine@cox.net. That's anycuisine@cox.net. So that's a great dish, really something that you can do throughout the whole year. But I think spring and summer, it's really a nice dish. You know, you would think it was heavy with the sausage, but it's not.
Well, what you want to do is always think seasonal.
Right.
You know, and Italian cooking is always seasonal. You know, finding the most local and the freshest ingredients. Yeah. And when you do that, and you go the extra mile, go to the farmers markets. You know, go back. You know, get a little old-fashioned and nostalgic, and you know, so, you know, look for these little places these little gems on the side of the road. Nothing like a tomato that's grown locally, or you know, the cheeses that are grown locally are amazing as well. And when you do that, by default, you're cooking Italian.
You're right.
When you cook seasonal and you use the best local ingredients you can find at the time, by default, you're cooking Italian.
Yeah. Well, that's great. We're going to be right back with Rob and more cooking. We've got a couple more recipes coming up. I think another pasta dish, right?
Absolutely.
We'll be right back with more of New England Cuisine. Hi, we're back. See, Rob is preparing. He's getting ready. And what was the one thing we talked about was this mise en place thing. And, you know, the cooking part is simple, really. it's the mise en place, right?
It's always trying to have everything you need at your disposal.
Before you start cooking, you got to have everything ready. So that's what we're doing now. So you get to see that.
Yes.
That, yes, we have to have our stuff together. Well, so you're making this great carbonara dish,
We're
right?
doing carbonara. Now, this is a classic carbonara. Now, I did not know how to make a carbonara. I've been making carbonaras for 30 years. And I went to Italy about a year ago with my kids. You know, first time they ever went there. So I got to see all of Italy through their eyes, which was a great experience.
That's cool.
And when I went, and as usual, I always barge into a kitchen somewhere, and I start asking them questions, and I tell them I'm a chef from New York City, and that usually buys me some time.
Yes.
You know, and I go in, and I watched them do a carbonara, and they schooled me. I absolutely, you know, you forget the basics. And a carbonara doesn't have any cream in it.
Yeah.
It's just egg yolk and grated cheese, you know, a pecorino romano. And that's the basis of it, and we forget that. And of course, when we're talking about seasonal items, you know, Italy, they're big on Brussels sprouts. And you got to try one of these. I roasted these earlier, and they're amazing. When you roast something and you smoke them up, and you olive oil, salt and pepper, and you put them on a little roasting pan. I don't care if it's a Brussels sprout or a tomato. Always, you know, try it. You know, save some, put them off to the side. You know, always have them to work with because they just have so much more flavor than just incorporating something fresh.
It's like candy. It really is.
If you're doing a spring dish, fresh vegetables, like, you know, nothing beats a fresh zucchini or fresh tomatoes and fresh basil when you want that springy primavera flavor. But when you want an old smoky roasted flavor, like roasted garlic or you know, or like the vegetables. I mean, we take these small carrots and we roast them, and again, olive oil, salt and pepper. And we roast them to the point where they caramelize, and you bring out the natural sugars and all that flavor, and it's so much better than just a fresh carrot.
I think you can get any person who doesn't like vegetables to eat vegetables if you roast them, you know, and it's such a wonderful way and simple way to do it. But like you said, it adds so much more.
Oh, it is.
And I went to school on the carbonara too. I was making it wrong for many, many years until I had Billy Grant on the show, and he's made a carbonara. I'm like, it's not how I know how to make it. He said, well, this is the right way.
Is there another bowl I can
you want another bowl?
Possibly steal from
Sure.
You? All right.
I got lots of bowls.
Perfect. Okay.
I just knew that. So you said, okay, so just eggs and cheese.
Egg yolk and the grated cheese.
Yeah.
And that's going to be our cream dish.
Wow.
That's what's going to create that cheesy sauce. See, now maybe an Alfredo might be creamy, but a carbonara will be cheesy.
Correct. And you're right. I think people get those mixed up sometimes and really don't, like you said, they don't know really what a true carbonara is.
Anyway, and they had, and again, going with in Rome, where they go seasonal. It's, you know, if it's artichokes, then artichokes are incorporated. If it's the Brussels sprouts are incorporated. So what we're going to do is the basics here are we're going to be using our the pancetta. This is also cut and a little cooked off. So we're gonna do a little bit of just, you know, getting these hot and kind of sweat these a little bit. And that's, you know, that's a typical ingredient for carbonara. You know, bacon, you've seen bacon a lot used. And then, of course, pancetta is just Italian bacon. Right. You know, it's cured a little differently.
Right. Which, I mean, I love pancetta, like you said.
We'll let that get hot, and then it'll, you know, some of the fats will start to, you know, glaze the pan a little bit. Yeah. And I'm going to grab my whip here and whip some of this egg. And add a little bit of cheese. Did I say a little bit? I mean a lot.
That is a little bit. I got some more over here if you want. Yeah. But it's that's where the flavor is, right, Rob?
Right.
I mean, it's
exactly
egg, yolk, and the cheese.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah. Now you're starting to get the nice.
Sort that out a little bit.
That's why I like pancetta. You know, you can go to your supermarket and ask for pancetta and ask for it cut a little thicker than normal, so you get that really nice pieces. Like
throw our Brussels sprouts in there. I love
nice.
Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, and some of our carrots.
Oh.
This is a nice, colorful dish.
Yes, it is.
All right, and peas cook quick.
Right.
So you want to throw those in last.
If you'd like more information, you can give us a call this evening at 860-623-8143, or you can email us at anycuisine@cox.net. That's anycuisine@cox.net. So we're making this carbonara. We got some great veggies in there too, you know.
Yep.
Like you said, seasonal stuff. Brussels sprouts, they look great. And you put in 3 egg yolks and maybe a half a cup of cheese, or
I'm going to actually incorporate a little bit of stock. Excuse me.
Into it. That's all right.
Wait, turn this down. Oops. This is a little veggie stock.
Ah.
Everything you want to use is a vegetable stock or a seafood stock.
Right.
Or a chicken stock.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you can see that that's going to cream up really nice. Yeah.
There we go. And then we're going to add our linguine to this.
Again, you're adding the pasta right to the sauce, and you're. Wow. I think the vegetables really make it too. You know.
Oh, absolutely. This is such a nice little dish.
It really is.
You see how it's just clingy?
Yeah.
See how the cheese and egg just cling right to it?
Yeah. Not like like I learned carbonara with the cream in it, you know, you don't have that. It's such a different look to it. But now that I know what it is, I look for that all the time.
Yeah. And then
I think it's a lot lighter that way too, you know?
Absolutely.
And I think you taste more of the vegetables and everything, right? I would think in that too.
Yeah. This is just the way to. Once I saw, it's like once you see the right way to do something.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I get it.
Slide this one over.
There we go.
Wow, well, there you have it.
Take a look at that.
That is the right way to make carbonara. You got some great roasted vegetables in there, so spend the time, you know, roast some vegetables up. Look for those things that are in season, then add them to your carbonara. We'll be right back. I've got a real simple pasta dish that you can make any time of the year. We'll be right back with more of New England cuisine.
Cheers.
Salud.